Hello everybody. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee. If you're new, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And this is my channel. I talk a little bit about everything, about what's going on in my life. I am 47 years old. I live here in Southern California, and I pretty much feel like my life has just gotten started, really. Even at this point, yeah, it just got started. But, I'm just taking you along if you're curious. Part of my journey is my Invisalign. I started this process a few weeks ago, and I just wanted to update you what's going on. I am approaching week 1 of my 3rd set of trays, and it's going really well. I think I'm finally getting the rhythm of how this works. And it seems that the first couple of days when I put in a new set of trays, the teeth feel a little painful. And you can, when you're biting into things, when you eat, you can feel like your teeth, it hurts a little bit. Because what's happening is that the new set of trays is moving your teeth from where they were the last time into a new position. And after about 2 or 3 days, the teeth kind of settle in that position, and then the trays keep them there, and then the teeth settle there. And then when you bring in the new set of trays, it's just going to move it again, and so on and so forth. So it's going pretty well, at the point where the trays have really got the teeth in their current position. So there's no pain, there's no discomfort. Everything is going really well. One of the things that I've also learned is that it's very important to brush your trays at the same time that you're brushing your teeth. If you don't know, with Invisalign, you take out the trays when you're about to eat. You can eat, and then you're supposed to floss and brush your teeth and then put them back on. You're not supposed to keep them off more than half an hour to an hour at a time, because if you leave them off for longer than that, the teeth are going to start moving back to their previous position, and it's going to be more difficult to try and put back the trays. And so it's very important to brush them as you're brushing your teeth, because if you don't, if you just rinse them with water, I noticed that they develop a bit of an odor. It's kind of a, I don't know, like a stale saliva smell. It's not strong or pungent, but it's really important to brush them with a little smidge of toothpaste with a very soft bristled toothbrush, because you don't want something that's too harsh that's going to probably warp them or I don't know, scratch them. But you do want to brush them inside and out. They also come with some crystals, and I just found them the other day. I remember the dentist had told me about the crystals to soak the trays occasionally, and I forgot. I just left them in the box that she gave me, and I've just been using the regular brushing. But the crystals, they come in a little pouch. I wish I had brought them there at home. I'll probably show them to you later. And you're supposed to soak your trays once a week with them. So I'm thinking that Friday when I come home from work, and I'm gonna have something to eat, I'm gonna keep them soaked in the crystals while I'm eating, and then just rinse them off and brush them before I put them back in my mouth. And so, yeah, the process is pretty easy. I've never had braces before, so I don't know how this compares to traditional braces. I think this will be a little easier because it gives you control in that you can take off the trays when you're about to eat, and it doesn't really restrict anything that you're supposed to eat. I did read somewhere that it says try to avoid things that are sticky, like caramel and toffee, because even though you think you might be brushing your teeth very well, there might be some little pieces that might stay in between your teeth, and if they stay untouched, it could cause cavities. So try to eat, just regular food, but try to avoid sticky things, which is a problem because I love chocolate, number one, and my favorite chocolate is anything with caramel. Oh, I love Milky Ways. They're my favorite. And I love See's Candies, which is a company. I think they're in other states, but they're pretty famous here in California, See's Candy. And I love their dark chocolate with caramel inside is my favorite. So I'm gonna have to put off that until I'm done with my Invisalign. My process, it's supposed to last anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years. I'm hoping that it will happen sooner than the 2 years. I really don't want to be in this process for a full 2 years, but I will do whatever it takes to get my smile perfect. Yeah, so I wanted to just remind you to pay attention to your brushing if you are using Invisalign. That's very important. That will help you to control the odor, and also use the crystals to soak your trays once a week. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. Also, something happened yesterday and I thought, this is a life lesson that I would like to share with my viewers. And so I was doing my nails, and first of all, if you see my nails, if you've seen my nails, you see that I've been using this really crazy orange neon. This is not my favorite. When I ordered this color, it did not look this bright on the website. And once the package arrived and I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh. But I'm sticking to it. It's one of those dip powder nail colors. And the reason why I got it is because during quarantine, I could not go to the nail salon and get my acrylics. I use acrylics because I have a really nasty habit of picking at my cuticles. I hate it. I really hate it. And I have destroyed my cuticles. It was just horrible. I don't know how to control it. I've tried so many things to try and stop, but it's a tic that I have, I guess, and I haven't been able to get rid of it. But the only thing that stops me from picking at my cuticles is when my nails are thicker, i.e. why I was using the acrylics. The dip powder nail colors have the same effect in that it thickens, I don't know if you can see it. It thickens the tips of my nails, so they're so thick that I can't really, cut into my cuticles. So that's good. And ever since I realized that I could save money by doing it at home, I decided, okay, let me order this set. It's called, what's the name of that? I'll tell you later. I'll put it in the description below. But it has been a lifesaver for me. So I didn't want something that was too bright. I almost got the red, but then I said, you know what, this color looks more earthy. Not earthy. Not earthy at all. But I'm committed to using it until it's done. Or maybe later I will get the red powder, because if I'm gonna wear bright nails, at least let it be something that looks normal. And so anyway, so I wanted to do that preamble to explain this is not my aesthetic. This is not what I like, but I'm making it work. But if you see, I have a bandage on this one because as I was prepping my nail bed and my cuticle and kind of pushing it back with one of the tools that I use, I sliced through right here. I sliced through my finger, and it wasn't a deep cut, but it was one of those surface cuts that they're a bleeder. Blood was gushing. So what I kept doing, I kept grabbing tissue and pressing and wiping off the blood and wiping off the blood, and it kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And I couldn't understand, why isn't it stopping? Well, am I gonna have to go to the emergency room? But then I remembered, I need to let it bleed because the coagulation is in the blood. The properties that are gonna stop the bleeding are in the blood. So I need to let it bleed so that the blood itself will stop the bleeding. And I thought to myself, isn't that a life lesson to remember? We live in a society that does everything in its power to help us to numb pain, to avoid discomfort at all costs, to always, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if something is bothering you, we need to put a stop to it, we need to numb it. And isn't it interesting that in the example that I use, when you're bleeding, it's the blood itself that has the properties that are going to stop the bleeding. So you have to let the blood flow. I think it's the same with feelings. If you're having feelings of sadness, discomfort, you're scared, instead of trying to numb those feelings, why not just let the feelings flow? If you need to cry, go ahead and cry. If you need to acknowledge your fear, acknowledge your fear. But instead of trying to numb the feelings or push them back, just let them flow. And it's in the flowing of those feelings that you're going to start feel better. Don't you feel better after a good cry? If you avoid the cry, it's not going to make the sadness go away. It's just going to push it down and push it down. And when more sadness comes, you're going to push it down and push it down. And eventually, you're not going to be able to hold it down, and it's going to explode, and it's going to be worse. So my message to you is, whatever it is you're going through, you are entitled to your feelings. There's nothing wrong with being sad. You have to let yourself feel what you're feeling. Let the tears flow. Let the fear come over. Let it come up through your throat and say it. I'm scared. I feel nervous. I'm about to take on this new thing, and I'm scared, and I'm terrified because I think this and this is going to happen. Write it down. Give it life. Write it down. I'm afraid that I'm going to be rejected. I'm afraid that this is going to fail. I'm afraid that people are going to hate my videos and make fun of me and come to my comment section and tell me, you're too old to be doing this. Why don't you should be worried about your retirement. Let those feelings come up to the surface. Look at them. And oftentimes you're going to realize, why was I scared? I mean, I'm looking at my fears and I'm thinking, okay, so what if that happens? What's the worst that can happen? Is rejection going to kill me? Is ridicule going to, injure me to the point that I won't be able to function? No. Acknowledging your feelings is going to allow you to explore them, look at them under the spotlight of the truth. And more often than not, you're going to realize, you know what? So what? So what? What is worse? What is worse? Being ridiculed for your failures, or never attempting anything and just living a very ordinary life that doesn't make you happy, that doesn't take you anywhere? That was the fear that kept me back from pursuing my dreams. I was so afraid of failure. But failure is really one of the best things that can happen to you. It's a learning experience. It's a strengthening experience. How do you build muscles? You have to go to the gym, and you have to pick up heavy weights. And when you pick up those heavy weights, as your muscles strain under the weight of what you're picking up, your muscles are actually going to tear. They're going to break apart in the struggle. And in the breaking apart, new mass is going to grow. Your muscles are going to grow. They're going to strengthen. So next time you pick up that same weight, it's not going to feel as heavy as the first time you picked it up. And so you move on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And before you know it, you have reached a place in your life that you never even thought you could get to. And it didn't kill you, hopefully. Hopefully. There's no guarantee that you won't die, but at least you want to die in the process of living, right? You don't want to just sit there in a corner and watch life pass you by. That's what almost happened to me. I'm 47 years old and my life is just starting. Better late than never. Okay? So don't push your feelings down. Don't suppress your tears. Don't ignore your feelings. They're not going to kill you. Now, if you're suffering from clinical depression and you have some sort of mental illness, I urge you to seek help. You shouldn't suffer in silence. But for the rest of us, just sit with your feelings, sit with your pain, let it flow, and then feel the relief after a good cry. Okay? I hope my little life lesson helped you. There are so many life lessons that we can benefit from. And every time I come across something, I'm going to share it with you if that's okay. Thank you so much for coming to my channel again. If you think that this is the kind of content you want to follow, subscribe. If you're thinking about getting Invisalign, I'm going to be talking about this a lot, so please subscribe to my channel. If you're somebody who's a late bloomer, if you're somebody who feels that your life is passing you by and you want to be inspired by somebody who is facing her fears and moving through them anyway. And maybe that's going to give you a little bit of courage and encouragement to go ahead and do it yourself. Please follow me. I would love to hear your comments, and I would love to be your cheerleader in your journey. So thank you for watching my channel. I hope to post another video maybe this weekend. I'm planning on going to the beach. Maybe I'll take you with me. And so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.